Welcome back to the News Hour. Nafisa Latic is with me now in the studio to talk about the main stories making headlines in the Balkans this week. Nafisa, you're getting, actually, I'm hearing reaction to the EU's rejection of both North Macedonia and Albania's bids to join the bloc.
Yes, a huge disappointment in the region following this decision because, I've been several times to Macedonia. People there really believe that this is the next step for the country. They really believed that this is going to happen, especially, they've been through so many things, reforms. They even changed the name, settled that dispute with Greece. But I'll have more on the Balkan segment. Andrea. Now, U.S. senators have criticized the EU for failing to start membership talks with Albania and North Macedonia. The top U.S. envoy to the Western Balkans, Matthew Palmer, also said he is profoundly disappointed with the decision. Now, he says it invites greater Russian influence in the region. Earlier this month, their EU bids were rejected for a third time over concerns about corruption and the standards of the rule of law. Now, France and the Netherlands led that decision. Okay, let's get the latest. Borjan Jovanovski joins me now from Skopje. He's a political analyst. Borjan, thanks so much for coming in on the show. Now, let's focus on North Macedonia. Following this EU decision, Zoran Zaev, the prime minister, called for the snap elections. So what now for the countries? What now for North Macedonia?
Well, now we are going to have the elections, as you said, on 12th of April. That's the way that Zoran Zaev, who played all cards on the EU perspective. The reform processes, the Prespa agreement, signing the bilateral agreement to resolve the long-standing dispute with Bulgaria also. So, but he's, in a way, he was betrayed by the European leaders who were not able to deliver the green light to start the negotiation talks. And he has, right now, he has to go to elections to just to check whether his mandate could be prolonged for another 4 years, because he still believes that some breakthrough is possible. But of course, the people in the citizens of Macedonia should also agree with this, having in mind this blow who came from Brussels last week.
And Borjan, who do you think is to blame for this that happened last week? Why Emmanuel Macron and France, they are the only ones that voted against this decision for opening the talks. Why this decision now?
Well, it's a good question. But it's a question for Macron. Obviously, it's about the principle. There was a many commitment from the EU, including the very important document issued in the Thessaloniki summit of 2004, when EU committed itself that Western Balkans country will become a member of EU. What Macron is saying right now looks like something which is a kind of completely different point of view, and it looks like that Macron is willing to block any enlargement. So it's about the principle, whether the European Union would like to continue with what they called the best or the most successful EU project as enlargement
Yes, and Borjan, also this sends a message to the entire region, because I want to talk about how it was perceived in the region. Do you think that many will now turn to Russia? Do you think that will be the case?
Well, it's obvious that all Western Balkans countries are right now very much confused about what they are going to do. What's their perspective? Hopefully, Macedonia will become a member of NATO soon. We are expecting that the 3 other NATO members are going to ratify the protocol till the end of this year. The Macedonian Prime Minister announced that he will strengthen the strategic partnership with the United States. But of course, it's a question of the credibility of EU, because the credibility of EU was a kind of a very important motive for the Western Balkans country to reform and to go further. Now, for example, now is the question what is going to happen with Kosovo, and why Vučić is going to agree with any deal with Pristina if there is no EU perspective, if there is no so-called carrot for any of the Western Balkans country. The United States, as you know, nominated 2 senior diplomats for the Balkans, and their only carrot was EU perspective.
Okay.
So now nobody. It's very difficult to answer, but it's obvious that it's a blow to the EU credibility in the Balkan, which is going to have a serious consequences for sure.
Exactly, a lot of confusion. Thanks so much for that, Borjan. Borjan Jovanovski, live for us from Skopje, a political analyst. Now, the Bosniak member of the presidency of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Šefik Džaferović, says the future of the Western Balkans lies in the EU. Now, my colleague Haris Buljubaš asked him about the EU's decision on North Macedonia and Albania at the sidelines of TRT World Forum here in Istanbul.
I believe that all the Western Balkan countries belong in the EU, regardless of all the problems we have. We have issues, but that should not be the determining factor in this decision. The region doesn't have any prospects outside the EU and NATO. I'm disappointed because this is a mistake that I believe the EU will realize soon.
Well, Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić says the EU's decision has made it clear to Balkans nations that it's not all up to us. In an interview, he told the Financial Times the Balkans region cannot rely on its Western neighbors alone. Now, Vučić has focused on forging ties with China and Russia instead. Last week, he joined the leaders of North Macedonia and Albania to sign a declaration to create a regional cooperation, intensify trade and flow of goods. Now, it will result in creating the so-called Balkan Schengen in a joint market of 18 million people. Okay, that's it from the Balkans for this week. Andrea, back to you and your news hour.
Thank you, Nafisa. Let's get a look now at a few of the other stories making headlines.